Chapter 3 Shadows of the Past. Present day, Paris, France. The library was silent except for the soft rustling of pages and the occasional scrape of Theo's chair against the wooden floor. Ellie sat across from him, the bundle of old letters wrestling between them like a fragile heartbeat waiting to be heard. Theo had barely spoken since she handed them over. He had read through the first letter, then the second, his face shifting from curiosity to something deeper, something Ellie couldn't quite name. Now he was holding the third letter, staring at it like he had held a ghost. "I don't understand," he finally said, his voice hushed. "These letters shouldn't exist." Ellie leaned forward. "What do you mean?" Theo exhaled slowly, his fingers tightening around the fragile parchment. "My great-aunt Celeste never spoke of James Calloway. Never. It was as if he never existed." Ellie's chest tightened. "But these letters prove otherwise." Theo nodded, but his gaze was distant. "She lived the rest of her life in this very city. She married, had children, grew old. But she never once mentioned an American pilot. If he meant so much to her, why would she erase him?" Ellie hesitated. Maybe she thought he was dead. Theo's eyes flicked to her. Or maybe she made herself forget. A shiver ran down Ellie's spine. Forget? The word struck something deep inside her, something she couldn't name but felt all the same. Theo sighed, setting the letter down. "There's only one way to find out." Theo met her gaze. "We find out what happened to James Calloway." "1942, occupied France. Celeste ran through the rain, her coat whipping around her ankles as she turned down a darkened alley. Her breath came fast, her heart hammering against her ribs. James was waiting. He stood in the shadows near the crumbling stone wall, his uniform partially covered by a civilian coat. His eyes softened when he saw her. "You came," he whispered. Celeste didn't stop moving until she was in his arms. His warmth wrapped around her, grounding her in a world that was unraveling at the seams. "I had to," she murmured. James pulled back slightly, his hands framing her face. "Celeste, listen to me. I have a way out for both of us." She stilled. "What?" He glanced around before reaching into his coat and pulling out a worn piece of paper. "A contact. Resistance. They can get us out of France." Celeste's breath hitched. "James." "I won't leave you behind," he said firmly. "I can't." Tears burned her eyes. "You don't understand. My father—" "I know," he cut in gently. "I know about his work, but Celeste, it's only a matter of time before the Gestapo finds out. You have to come with me." Her hands trembled against his chest. "I want to, but if I leave, I'll be putting you in more danger." James swallowed hard. "And if you stay, you'll be putting yourself in theirs." A sharp whistle cut through the night. Celeste's blood ran cold. They had been followed. James grabbed her hand. "Run!" Present day, Paris, France. Ellie turned the page, her pulse racing as she read the next letter aloud. "Celeste, I don't know if you're alive. I don't know if you ever made it out, but I can't stop looking for you. Every time I close my eyes, I see you in the rain, your hand in mine. I hear your voice telling me to run, but I didn't want to run. I wanted to stay with you. If fate is kind, if there is any mercy left in this world, you will find this letter someday. And if you do, please, Celeste, find me. Yours always, James." Ellie Ellie's voice broke on the last word. Theo sat frozen, his hands clenched into a fist. He never stopped looking for her, Ellie whispered. Theo swallowed hard, and yet she never looked for him. Ellie stared at the fragile paper in her hands. Why? Something inside her ached, something she couldn't explain.